It's been a while since we've talked, Madison. Do you have a moment to chat right now?
Hi, Mrs. Waters. I hope your day has been good. And yes, I'm free right now. Is something the matter?
You see, I'd like to talk about my birthday that's coming up. If I recall correctly, I did tell everyone a while ago to come to my house for it, right?
Yes, you did. It's this upcoming weekend, isn't it?
Yes, you've got a great memory, sweetie. Well, I've decided that I'd rather not have you come.
Oh, I see. I guess I'll refund our ticket then. I'll make sure to let James and Hannah know that we won't be coming after all.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'd still like for the two of them to come. I only want you to stay home, not them.
So you meant you only want me to stay home?
You can't blame me, Madison. It's my special day after all, and I'm not sure how many more I'll have to celebrate. Seeing your face alongside my beautiful son and granddaughter would leave a sour taste in my mouth.
Okay, Mrs. Waters. I'll make sure you don't have to cross paths with me this weekend.
Thank you for understanding, dearie. And by the way, if you could, don't go telling on me to James that I said this to you, okay?
What? Why not?
If you keep your mouth shut, then I'll count that as your present to me this year. You'll do that much for me, won't you, Madison? Please don't go around ruining one of my last remaining birthdays.
I think you have plenty fulfilling years ahead of you.
Oh, please. No matter how much you try to butter me up, I'm still not letting you set foot in my house this weekend.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to come off as though that's what I was trying to do.
At the very least, you could give me a grandson after all these years. Before you gave birth to Hannah, I thought my opinion of you might change for the better if you gave birth to a boy. Yet here we are. Just one girl, and an only child at that. No child can grow up well without a brother or sister to play with, you know. That child, all she does is talk back to me. You'd think she would have grown out of that cheeky attitude of hers by now. I wouldn't have any complaints if she just tried to get on my good side every once in a while.
To be fair, you've disliked me ever since we first met. You've been saying you hate the way I look and the worthlessness I've brought to the family since the very beginning, haven't you? I don't know if you see it this way, but I tried very, very hard to get you to see the good side in me. No matter how much I tried, your opinion of me still didn't change, so honestly, I gave up on trying to please you.
Clearly, I don't think you tried hard enough, dearie. All you had to do was put on a little more makeup to cover that face of yours, and let James do the talking more. Then I could have seen you as a good enough wife for him. I just can't understand why he chose you of all people. I know some fine woman that would love to be with him, you know. Like any proper woman of my time, I put effort into my good looks, and I attracted a great husband because of it. Why do men go for such homely women nowadays?
James loves me for who I am on the inside, not for how I look on the outside.
Oh, please. So you're gonna tell me that a woman who treats her mother-in-law so viciously is good deep down inside? I don't have time for jokes. I just hope poor Hannah doesn't turn out to be like you. She still mostly resembles her father at this age, and I can only hope it stays that way. And God forbid she inherits your nasty attitude. I think she'd be beyond saving.
Sorry to interrupt you. I have to head back to the house now, so let's talk about this another time.
Oh, sure, go ahead and run off to your husband. Someday he'll realize just how horrible you are. Hopefully before it's too late. Go ahead, run off now. And be a dear and remember not to tag along to my birthday party, all right? Because that is the one thing that would completely ruin my day.
Mrs. Waters, if you have a moment, I'd like to talk to you about my daughter.
Oh, what is it? I'm about to start on dinner, so I'd appreciate it if you could keep it short.
It's about what happened at your birthday party the other day. You said something horrible to her, didn't you?
I think you may be mistaken, dear. I don't recall anything of the sort. Perhaps you're mistaking it with something you said to me instead.
This is not the time to play dumb with me. You went up to her at the party and said she wasn't your son's child, didn't you? You said that James isn't her father and that her real father is someone I went off and had an affair with instead. Why would you say something so ridiculous to my child's face? She's been upset for days after you said that to her, you know? She's usually so cheerful, but she's been locking herself in her room and refusing to come out. It's not like her at all.
Don't tell me she actually took what I said seriously. I was only telling a joke. I thought I made that much obvious.
She's only in 3rd grade. How is she supposed to know it was a joke? She told me you said that if she were to tell anyone the truth, that me and her father would break up. You even went out of your way to threaten my child with such nonsense? I never thought you would go this far, and to my own family. She came up to me, bawling her eyes out, and asked, "Am I not Mommy and Daddy's child?"
Yes, and she still believes that she isn't James's child? You've got to admit that's hilarious.
This is not something to be laughing about. I tried to tell her it wasn't true, but even now she still doesn't totally believe me. You need to apologize to Hannah as soon as you can. I want you to go up to her and tell her that nothing you said was true.
Come on now, it was just a little joke. Nothing to cause such a big fuss about. Surely it didn't cause enough of a stir for me to go up to the girl and apologize. Why should I have to apologize to a 3rd grader for making a little adult joke anyway? Besides, at the end of the day, it's Hannah's fault she's in this mess.
It's Hannah's fault? How do you figure that? What could she possibly have done to deserve this from you?
After she said hi to me at my birthday party, she came up to me and whispered in my ear, "Please don't be mean to Mommy anymore. You've been telling your daughter about my criticisms and twisting them to make it seem like I'm in the wrong. I was just getting a little payback for what you did to me. And now you're going to tell me that I'm in the wrong and not you or her?"
I never told Hannah that you were bullying me. All she did was see the way you treat me every day and figured it out herself. You're not as subtle as you think you are, you know?
I can hardly believe that. As if she'd come to that conclusion without you making up stories about me. To think that the both of you talk back to me so incessantly. To think that she's a young girl and even I can't find her behavior cute. Imagine what kind of girl she'll grow up to be with that kind of attitude. And I'll have you know something, Madison. I was only fed up with you before, but now I don't want either of you stepping foot inside my house again.
I'll make sure to let James know that that's what you want. After this time, I have a feeling he won't be stepping foot inside your house again either.
Oh, how frightening. At this point, I don't care if I don't see him again either. To be fully honest, I've been fed up with him too. My son who chose a woman like you of all people. Frankly, it's unforgivable how he chooses you over me no matter what the issue is. What kind of man takes his wife's side over his aging mother?
So that's all it takes for you to cut your son out of your life, is it?
Why, yes it is. I've had it with people like you, and I have no obligation to keep meritless people in my life during my twilight years. Of course, that isn't to say that I don't care for him an awful lot. At the end of the day, I am his mother after all.
So that's how it's going to be. Are you saying you have no intention of apologizing to Hannah for what you said to her?
Why on earth would I? Clearly you weren't paying attention to a word of what I've said. I said that I have no need for worthless people in my life. If you're ever down on your luck and you need family by your side, Madison, just know you won't be hearing from me. And you know what? I'm not even going to send Hannah a birthday present this year.
That's fine by me. I don't need people like you in my life either.
You're an impudent woman through and through, aren't you? I'll have you know Mr. Waters is going to hear all about this too, and I'm sure he won't be too happy about it either. When he hears just how cruel you've been to me, it'll send him into a fit of rage, I'm sure. He sticks to my side no matter what, you know.
You are free to do as you please.
If you keep this up, I might have to make some changes to my will. Changes that are not in your favor. Will that change your mind about the way you've been acting? This is your last chance to tell me you're sorry, and you're not getting another one.
I don't want anything to do with your inheritance.
Is that so? Don't go thinking you'll never need that money. Even if you regret it later, I'm not changing my mind after this. Even if you come to me begging on your knees for help, you aren't going to get a single penny from me. I need to have a word with you. You see, Hannah was here visiting my house just a moment ago.
What? You'd better not have put any more strange ideas in her head.
It looks like she still hasn't let up about the joke I made the other day. Boy, was she cross with me, stomping her foot at me and saying she was her mommy and daddy's child. I had to stop myself from laughing. She really is just like you, going out of her way to refute me so stubbornly.
So that's what happened. I hope you're not lying to me this time.
She really just would not let up. I got tired of her talking my ear off with that whiny little voice of hers. She told me you even went and ordered a DNA test. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, are you? That's how far you had to go to get her to believe you? Maybe you do have something to hide after all. I wouldn't put it past you.
I just wanted to give Hannah a little peace of mind, that's all. At first I thought she wouldn't be able to wrap her head around it, even if I showed her the results of the test. But it turns out that even ordering the test in the first place gave her reassurance that I was taking this seriously, which I think helped her a lot.
Honestly, I would have been glad to hear that she isn't really James's child after all. Just imagine the fit she would have thrown if she found out that's the case. The face she'd have made would have been priceless. Oh, even imagining how the house would be in shambles after the ensuing fight. Boy, I'd have to bring a camera.
Actually, I think the ones fighting would be you and your son. He's in the living room crying right now, you know. After all, he just found out that he's not actually related to your husband.
What? I don't understand what you're saying.
I'm saying that the DNA report said that your husband isn't actually James's father. Both of them gave DNA samples, you know.
What are you trying to claim? I don't understand. You're saying that not only my son, but my husband also took the test? What does he have to do with this?
My husband was worried about Hannah too, so he called up who he thought was his father on the phone. He mentioned taking a DNA test to soothe Hannah's worries, and Gerald was curious about the idea himself, so he decided to provide a sample to send to the company as well.
I don't understand a word of what you're saying. The test has to be wrong then. I can't think of any other reason why it would say they aren't related. Is this company even real? Or are you pulling a fast one on me to get back at me?
It's real. In fact, we send the samples to 2 different companies to be sure we didn't get a false positive. It says clearly in the results from both that James and Gerald don't share the same DNA. Gerald must have suspected this for a long time himself, for him to agree to do this with us on such short notice. Of course, he never mentioned a word of this to you because he so badly wanted to believe that James is his real son. I guess the truth can't stay hidden forever.
Any fool could see right through your lies.
He said that he suspected you must have had an affair with someone else in secret, sometime before he found out you were pregnant with James.
I don't believe this. Why would he ever mention that to the likes of you?
He said that he was there when you told that horrible lie to Hannah, and it reignited the doubt he'd held in his heart about you. He just wanted to finally have a resolution to the worries he's had for so long.
Now hold it right there. So you're saying the reason he was out of the house yesterday, it wasn't because he was on a business trip like he said, but because of that instead? He was lying to me this whole time?
I suppose so, but you're the last person that should be angry about someone lying. He did mention that he doesn't want to live under the same roof as you anymore, if that makes any difference.
So, he's at your house right now? I'm coming over right now.
Actually, he's not home right now.
Well then tell me, just where on earth is he right now? Answer me.
You see, he actually told us not to tell you, so I'm afraid I can't answer that. He did say that he would be contacting you in the near future, though. If I were you, I'd just sit back and wait until I heard from him directly.
In the near future? That's not an answer. I want to know exactly how soon.
I have no way of knowing that. He's probably off somewhere trying to collect his thoughts about everything that's happened.
Please, Madison, tell me where my husband is. I want to apologize to him for everything that's happened.
There's no way I'm telling you that. If you want to know so desperately, then just be patient and wait for him to contact you first.
Oh, Madison, you have to help me. My husband said that he wants to get a divorce with me. After all these years we've spent together, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Is that so? Too bad, I guess.
Don't think that I've forgotten that this was all you and your family's fault either. If you hadn't gone out of your way to get something as crazy as a DNA test done just to satisfy your daughter, none of this would be happening right now. If we do end up getting a divorce, I'm rightfully putting all of the responsibility on you. Got it?
Okay. Why do you say that this is me and my family's fault? Truthfully, I don't think that's the case at all. If I recall correctly, you're the one who lied to my daughter to her face and set off this whole fiasco in the first place.
Well, I obviously didn't think she'd take me seriously. It was just a joke after all. Parents tell their children nonsense all the time, like how a stork delivered them to their doorstep, that sort of silly thing. It's the child's fault if they actually take that as fact. Telling silly little lies to children is something that happens all the time. I don't see why this case is so special.
I think that what you told my daughter went way past being a silly little lie. You told her that she's the child of an affair. How in the world is that a normal joke to tell a child? It's disturbing. And of course, Hannah would be disturbed by that herself. She's been holed up, depressed in her room. Who wouldn't if they thought that's what really happened? Yet somehow you still blame it on my family instead of yourself? Plus, didn't you say earlier that even if I came to you begging on my hands and knees, you wouldn't let me in?
I'll apologize to Hannah for the joke. I really will.
If you actually want to and you're not just saying that, then that's fine with me. And by fine with me, I mean it'd be completely pointless. Hannah already has the proof she needs that she's really me and my husband's child. You apologizing isn't going to change that at this point.
Madison, dearie, I have a big favor I want to ask of you. I'm desperate here. I want you to be a mediator for us, with Gerald and James on one side and me on the other. I need you to help us sort out all this together calmly. You see, I've called them countless times these past few days and they haven't picked up once. I'm worried they plan on severing our relationship. Even today, when I finally got to see my husband again, I just wanted things to go back to normal. But he wouldn't listen to a word I said. I even acknowledged how I hurt him in the past by having an affair, and I apologized profusely.
So you're saying he still hasn't forgiven you for what you did?
He hasn't, but I don't understand why. Things between us had been better than ever up until now. And for him to suddenly turn his back on James and denounce him as his legitimate child is utterly cruel of him. He's taking the past 30 years of our happy marriage together and throwing them out the window.
I think the one who should be saying that is your husband, not you. Besides, there's one thing that you said that I feel the need to correct, for your husband's sake. He said that even if they aren't related by blood, he still considers James to be his son no matter what. He even said that directly to him.
What? Well, then why is he still choosing to divorce me? If he has no problem with James's lineage, then what other problem could there possibly be?
I think the only problem remaining here is you. Isn't it obvious? The reason all of this happened is because you told your sick joke about adultery to Hannah at the party. He'd been trying to sweep his doubts under the rug until you said that. You're the one who riled him up again enough for him to settle his doubts for good. Besides that, I think he finally got sick of your nasty behavior after you caused this whole fiasco. He must have a good heart for him to have been able to put up with it for so long.
My nasty behavior? What on earth did I even do?
To start with, I think your constant bullying of me is a great example. I'm not the only one who's been subjected to your behavior either. You bully your friends and your neighbors too. At least that's what I heard from your husband. If someone rubs you the wrong way, even in the slightest, you don't hesitate to tear them down verbally. That, and you have a reputation for starting preposterous rumors about people. What finally tipped things over the edge, though, was how you hurt your granddaughter so badly. Seems to me like your husband has an entire mountain of viable reasons to divorce from you.
I'll change. I won't act cruelly to people anymore. I won't let anyone else be hurt by my flippant behavior ever again. Please, Madison, I need him by my side.
Apologizing to me at this point doesn't change the harm you've done to me and my family, and your husband too.
I'm apologizing to you because nobody else will answer my calls. What else am I supposed to do? Even when I finally got to meet with my husband again in person, the only person who would listen to me was the lawyer that was present. No matter how I explain things to him, my husband refuses to see my side of things. Madison, you're the only one I can say any of this to anymore. Nobody else in the whole world will listen to me.
Even so, you're expecting me, of all people, to hear you out even though I've been your #1 target for as long as I've known you? You can't seriously expect me to forget all the cruel words you've spoken to me over the years.
I know, but listen to me. I said I apologize. Won't you take that to heart? For my sake.
No matter how many times you say you're sorry, I don't think any one of them is going to be genuine. After all, you're the kind of person who only thinks about herself. I know that very well by now. Besides, I've already decided that I'm cutting off all ties with you. If anything, I should have made this decision years ago.
No, please, don't say such things. You don't know what you're saying. I don't know how many times I need to tell you for you to understand, but I'm deeply sorry about everything up until now. I'm sorry for saying James would be better off parenting Hannah alone and making fun of your appearance. It was wrong of me to do so. I was completely in the wrong.
I understand.
Really? You understand me then? So that means you'll forgive me after everything I've done, right? Oh, I'm so glad. Madison, this will fix everything.
Not quite. All I'm saying is that I've acknowledged your apology. That doesn't mean I have to forgive you for everything you've done to me and my family.
But why? Don't you see? I'm on my hands and knees here. What more do I have to do to get through to you that I regret my actions?
This is what you've had coming. You sowed the seeds for this to happen. Don't act surprised when they start to sprout. I don't see why it's such an issue for me to treat you the same way you swore you'd treat me if I were in your situation.
Oh, don't take that so seriously. I only said it in the heat of the moment. I didn't really mean it. I was only trying to rile you up.
Well, you should have thought before you spoke. Most people take what others say at face value, you know? Why is it my problem that your temper got out of control?
I truly am sorry for what I said. You're my beautiful daughter-in-law, you know? You always have been to me deep down. I'll never say a cruel thing to you again. I swear it. You don't deserve that kind of behavior from your mother-in-law. So please, tell my Gerald to reconsider his decision on the divorce. And tell James too. I just want both of them to see my side of things.
I'd rather not, actually. You have no idea just how much hurt my family's been through because of you. You can't possibly expect me to forgive you after all that's happened. I have no obligation to keep meritless people in my life. That's a lesson I learned from you. It's far too late for you to apologize for all the damage you've done. Can't you see? There's nobody left who needs you in their life anymore. Not a single person. After that, Mr. and Mrs. Waters met with a mediator to discuss the possibility of a divorce. In the end, Mrs. Waters broke down crying and admitted defeat, leading to the divorce proceedings being finalized. She must have realized that Mr. Waters' feelings for her could never return to the way they were before. At least that's how I see it. After their divorce was finalized, she moved out of the home they once shared and began living alone in an apartment. Apparently, Gerald did end up having to pay her alimony, meaning she'll probably be okay on her own in the short term. However, being unable to work in her old age, she won't be able to maintain her quality of living for very long unless she somehow remarries. Having spent her whole adult life as a housewife to Gerald, she'll probably have a rough future awaiting her, having to somehow provide for herself. Aside from that, she needs help doing basic tasks due to her age, and used to rely on him and the rest of her family for help. Unfortunately, due to her behavior, it seems that everyone close to her has more or less cut her out of their lives, meaning she no longer has anyone she can rely on for help. While money will certainly become an issue for her, the bigger issue she faces is the ensuing life of loneliness she'll have to endure. Once she realizes this fact, she'll probably regret her actions deeply. As sad as that might seem, she's merely reaping what she sowed, so I personally don't have any sympathy for her. She'll have plenty of time to reflect on everything she's done to lead her to that point, I'm sure. As for Gerald and my husband James, the two of them have been spending lots of time together as of late. Of course, they've always had a great relationship to begin with, but after everything that's happened between them, it seems like their bond has grown even stronger. Admittedly, James sometimes wonders what things would have been like if the two hadn't taken the DNA test in the first place. However, he's told me that he, too, had grown tired of his mother's behavior, and is glad to have this major source of drama in his life be resolved after having to put up with it for so long. Apparently, he also had lingering doubts throughout his life about why he and his father looked nothing alike. Now he's happy that he and his father were finally able to resolve this unspoken feeling of uneasiness between them. Now that his mother isn't around anymore, no one will be able to hurt our family ever again. I hope more than anything that with our fresh start, we'll have a life of peace and quiet awaiting us. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this.
Hey, Julian. What time are you coming home today? Hurry up and get here so you can make dinner for us all. We're hungry and waiting. What are you talking about, Mom? I am still at work. There is no way I can leave now to go make you all dinner. Besides, it is only noon. Dinner is not going to be until much later anyways. You really are a terrible son. You know that. Just a good-for-nothing bum. I mean, you are 25 years old and still have no sense of responsibility. You really should try and be more like your little brother, Mark. Mom, Mark is still in college and has never had to hold down a job. What could he possibly teach me? That's right. He is in college. Unlike you, who only went to a trade school. You should be doing more for your family. I literally give you guys some of my paycheck every single month. You know what I call that, mister? Rent. Quit trying to act so high and mighty when all you ever give us is the bare minimum. You know that we are just letting you live here. This isn't some hotel that you own and can stay at whenever you want. It is not like I like living at home all that much either. But the location is convenient because it is closer to work. And besides, Dad was the one who asked me to move in and contribute a bit with my earnings. You two really didn't give me any other choice but to move in. I mean, if I am being honest, most of my earnings are going towards you guys. At this rate, I'll never have enough money to be able to move out and live on my own. I am sick and tired of all your excuses, Julian. You have got to learn to take responsibility for yourself. You are the oldest brother, and you need to start acting like it. The reason you don't have any money is because you never studied and are terrible at saving. And even though your father and I are kind enough to let you live here, you don't even bother helping with the housework. Why are you even alive? Mom, how can you say something like that to your own son? My son? Please. I only need one son, and his name is Mark. All you are is just a failure and a mistake. I don't want you in my life anymore. Please, Mom. You shouldn't say things like that. Don't you even care about how that makes me feel? You expect me to believe that a brainless little worm like you has feelings? Honestly, how did you get to be so stupid in the first place? Huh, Julian? You aren't good at anything, and all you do is take up space at home. That's not true. I give you guys so much of what I earn. Sure, I may not be as smart as Mark. Even I know that. But that doesn't mean I'm incapable of learning anything. I mean, Mark is already 20, but all he ever does is study. I don't think he has a single friend. I'm worried about him, Mom. What? Your genius little brother doesn't need a numbskull like you to worry about him. He is going to be just fine on his own. Besides, it is no wonder he hasn't found anyone to talk to when his intellect is leagues above everyone else. He operates on a different level. I don't even think he needs friends. He is meant for much bigger and greater things than any of us can even imagine. I see. And you don't think that that is a kind of cold way to regard your own child? What is that supposed to mean? Are you trying to insult Mark now? What do you even know about him? Nothing! You moron! Gah, you really piss me off. I want you out. Out? You mean, like, to move out? But won't you two have trouble with your finances if I'm not there to help? Who needs you anyways? I'll talk to your dad and convince him. But I never want you to set another foot in the house again. Do you understand me? I'll gather your things and throw them in the lawn for you to pick up. What? You can't be serious. I am. And I do mean everything. So only come back to take your things and then leave right away. I don't even want to see your face. If you stay here any longer, then your stupid will probably just rub off on Mark. Mom, do you even know what you are saying? How can you be so cruel to your own son? All right, if you want me to leave, that's fine. But I can't just move out today. That's too soon. Enough! I don't want to hear it anymore. I can't believe this. Well, you better, because you are out of here. We all agree that none of us want you here anymore. So grab your things and never come back. There is nothing left for you. Nobody wants you here. You really are the worst, Mom. But fine. If that's how you want it, then you'll never have to hear from me ever again. Good. And not just me. You are not to contact anyone from this family either. Well, fine. Then you can tell them all never to contact me again. And from this day on, you are no longer my son. We are nothing to each other. Got it? Julian, send us some money right away. Excuse me? Mom, is that you? What are you talking about? I told you all those years ago that you are no longer my son. And if you think that after 5 years of never even bothering to check on us is going to change that, then you are sorely mistaken. Wow. Really? That is really what you have to say to me? As I recall, you were the one who said that you never wanted to talk to me ever again first. Then you tossed all my things into the lawn and kicked me out. I don't care how you remember. I know the facts. You really don't, apparently, but whatever. And what do you mean by your earlier message? I mean, I need you to send us money. That shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Then again, you were always an idiot. I doubt you are even making that much right now. But send us at least something. After all, you were the one who abandoned this family. Wait a second. Are we family or aren't we? You need to keep your story straight. You keep saying I abandoned you, but you were the ones who threw me out in the first place. And now you have the gall to message me asking for money? But this is really serious. We are in a really bad way. And just what do you mean by that? I just mean that there is a lot going wrong over here and you need to help us. Tell me what is going on first. I want to know. Why should I have to explain anything to an idiot like you? Why did you even bother reaching out to an idiot like me in the first place? Especially to beg for money of all things. Stop playing your little semantic word games, okay? If you must know, Mark is in quite a bit of debt and lately we have all gone into debt trying to help. So now we need you to help all of us by sending us money. What? You mean you all have debt? Enough questions! Just cough up the money to help your little brother. Quit being so useless and send $3,000 right now. Yeah, I think I will pass. What do you mean? I mean that 5 years ago, you threw me out of this family and we agreed never to speak to each other again. And yet here you are coming to talk to me. I tried meeting with some lawyers and they explained there is no real legal method to completely keep you away from me. He said the best thing to do is just ignore anything that you might send me. So, I guess I will just block you now. What are you talking about? Are you really going to abandon your family for a second time? No. What are you talking about? You were the one who said that I was no longer your son or part of your family anymore. And all because I was worried about my little brother. But you two never listened to me and always treated me like dirt. Well, how is Mark? Is he a shut-in recluse just like I was worried he might end up all those years ago? Well, he doesn't have a job, if that is what you're asking. But he is getting ready to have one. What does getting ready to have a job even mean? I just mean that he is still preparing for his big important future. He just isn't ready yet. He is like a battery that is charging to its full potential. What even is that? What do you mean? You have babied Mark for far too long and now he can't even act as a functioning adult. You've raised him to be completely helpless. I mean, he's already 25 years old, right? But I bet he still doesn't have a single friend and spends all day at home. Huh? Well, he's just working hard on something on his laptop all day. But I know that it is going to pay off any day now, and then we'll all be rich. So we just need to pay back these loans, and then we'll have it made. And just what makes you think that paying off your debts will solve all of your problems? Mark may be good at studying, but is that really what you think it means to be smart? And who are you to say something like that? You don't even have a good job or anything like that. Actually, I'm using the education I got from my trade school to, get this, work in my trade. And now I am supervising a branch office company overseas. Wait, you're doing what? After you threw me out of the house, I went and tried to find another job and had to use all of the skills I had gotten from school to make it work. Of course, I was never good at studying in the traditional sense, but my trade school equipped me with lots of practical skills. In fact, since we last spoke, I've gotten married, had kids, and I'm living a really peaceful life abroad. Are you serious? You're married? You have kids? My grandkids. I don't really think that you can call them your grandkids. After all, we aren't family anymore. Well, when do you think you're coming home? Home? And just where do you mean by that? To our house, of course. When are you going to come back and introduce your father and I to our grandchildren? That is never, ever going to happen. I have explained everything to my wife, and she is more than content to tell people that I don't really have any family. After all, it's true in a way, isn't it? What are you talking about, Julian? We're your family. How can you say that? And are you really working overseas? Well, that is just incredible! I hear that overseas posts usually get paid pretty well, don't they? They do, in fact. Thank you for asking. But that really shouldn't concern you, since you are never going to see a penny of that money. Oh, come on, son. Don't be like that. We need to come together as a family and overcome this adversity together. It is what families do. Don't you want to help your brother? Remember how worried you were for him? And he talks so highly of you all the time. Honest. That's great, but I don't buy any of that. And like I said, I don't even think of us as family anyways. So why don't you all keep suffering together as a family? Please, can't you just send us even a little bit of money? And maybe bring your children over so we can finally meet our grandchildren too. No. No. I am never going to let my children meet you for as long as I can help it. In fact, I will make sure that this is the last time that we talk. Ever. How can you be so cruel? How can you say such things to me? I am your mother. Not the way I see it, you aren't. All you've ever done is compare me to Mark, over and over again. You never once accepted me for who I was. Well, now I'm free and I never want to have any of you back in my life ever again. Okay. Very well. I understand. I'm sorry. I was wrong to treat you that way for so long. I apologize. So, please, just come back home to us, Julian. Maybe we can even all live together again. You can bring your wife and kids and it will be fun. Just like it used to be. It was never fun for me. And there is no way that I am going to expose my real family to awful people like you. And I certainly have no intention to get myself or my family wrapped up in all the debt that you three have accumulated over the years. Why do you have to be so cruel right now? I apologized, didn't I? Isn't that enough? Please, can't you find it in your heart to change your mind? It's not like there was ever a moment when we never loved you as our own son. Let's just all be a family again and have things go back to the way they were when we were happy. It is so clear what you are trying to do right now. Literally, the first thing you asked me for was money, and that is still all you want out of me. Especially now that you know how much my life has improved since leaving you all behind. No! It isn't like that at all. You've got it all wrong. Just come back home. Your mother is begging you. What mother? I've had enough of this. I said that I am never going to be coming, and that is final. If you keep messaging me after this, I will sue for harassment. Sue me? See your own mom? Don't you think that is taking things too far? All I want to do is see my son after all these years. Is that so wrong? You don't want to see me. You just want my money. And this sad attempt at getting it so obviously is pathetic. You want me to help so that you can use me to dig your way out of the hole that you all have dug for yourselves by babying Mark. Did you really think that I was going to fall for this? I've told you so many times already that I never want anything to do with any of you again. Goodbye, Patricia. After that, Julian's mom was completely shocked by the whiplash of finding out her estranged son was successful and that she had grandchildren, only to have it driven home none of them would ever be a part of her life. Mark only plunged further into debt and dragged his parents down with him until they were left with no other choice but to finally kick Mark out of the house. Of course, even so, Julian still had no intention of helping any of them. Instead, he chose to focus on his happy life and loving family from the safety of a whole new country. Kate, have you sent the money yet? Why, hello to you too, Deborah. What money are we talking about here? Don't make me ask for it again, Kate. You know damn well what I'm talking about. I told you. $10,000 for marrying my son. Deborah, sorry, but I honestly thought that was a joke. Please don't tell me that you actually meant for me to pay you money so that I can marry your son. A joke? I don't do jokes, Kate. I warned you. No money and you're in trouble. But you really want me to pay you money to marry your son? Are you having fun repeating yourself like a stupid old parrot? Which part of that didn't you understand? But you do realize that what you're demanding is completely unreasonable, right? Who asks for money from their son's fiancé like that? I'm pretty sure that this is some type of fraud you're committing, Deborah. Are you telling me that you can't? Or that you won't send the money to me, Kate? That's not the point. This is crossing the line, Deborah. Please stop demanding money from me. Whether you like it or not, this is how we do things in this family. You want our things, you pay for them. Isn't that how the world works? You better pay up or my son's going to be nothing but a friend to you. You'd be lucky if he's even that. This is crazy. It's a simple trade-off. Consider it a business deal. Or are you too poor? Is that why you can't pay up, Kate? No, I'm not lacking in funds, thank you very much. A business deal, huh? Me marrying your son is a business deal. Is that what you call it? His father and I spent thousands of dollars raising him. How much do you think we spent on his education, food, necessities, and whatnot? And you think we can hand him over to you for free? Raising him was like an investment. What kind of investment would it be without the returns? Wow. I'm just shocked to hear this. Is that what you truly think of your own son? Has James heard this from you? This is shocking, Deborah. It's just a matter of perspective, Kate. My son means the world to me. He's gold to me. He's the most coveted stock in the market. Think of it like an asset. I can't just give away the biggest asset I own for free, can I? Besides, if you marry him, I'll be your mother-in-law. Now, it's not a good idea to start off on a bad note with me now, is it? So why not just listen to me and pay that money and all will be settled? Don't you agree? Take this as an order from me to you. Your first one of many to come. An order? From you? No way. No way. This is insane. You do want to marry James, don't you? Don't you know that this is how you play the game? I'm his mother, and I get to choose the conditions for giving my son away. Pay the damn 10K and I'll settle. No, that's a crazy demand and I won't agree to that. Not for you and not even for James. Oh, really now? Not even for James? I thought you loved him. He works his blood, sweat, and tears for you every day. And he'll continue to do so, to support you as your future husband. And you won't even pay a dime to his mother to help her out. Is that what you call fair, Kate? Excuse me, but I have a job too. I have a decent job where they pay me enough for the both of us to get by. So I'm not exactly relying on his income or anything. He knows that too. Well then, you better keep working so that you can support your husband-to-be as well as your mother-in-law-to-be as well. No, you're talking nonsense now. This doesn't make any sense. Does James even know about this? Does he know that you're asking me for 10K? What does he say about all of this? Like I told you earlier, he says he works hard day and night for you. All for you, Kate. So don't you think he deserves to have his mother treated better than this? Excuse me? He really said that? Well, yes, that's what he told me. Then I think there's been a huge mistake here. Because the last time I spoke to him, it was me who pays the rent and the energy bills for the house. It's me who even pays for his phone bills. Oh, no. You don't get it, do you? Lies don't work with me, you see. I see right through them. Go ahead and ask James yourself then. No need for that. I know my boy doesn't lie to his mother. He's a good boy. He always has been. I don't particularly enjoy wasting my time here now, Kate. I need your word. Tell me when you're planning on sending that money to my account. No, Deborah. I mean it. Do you want me to speak to your parents, Kate? I suppose they can understand how threats work more than you do, Threats? You really think you can threaten people? Let alone my parents? Also that you can get some money into your pockets? I'd stop right there if I were you. Because this sounds like it's going to get really ugly. Well, if you just shut your mouth and be the obedient little girl you're supposed to be, then we wouldn't be here right now. Why don't you just be a good girl and pay up? No. I think you're the one who needs to find your morals and have a bit of integrity and decency here. Think about what you're asking me as my mother-in-law. Huh. I'm not your mother-in-law just yet. Not until you pay up. So I won't have you calling me that. Right then, I guess I will never be calling you that then, Deborah. I will not be calling you my mother-in-law. I will never pay you to marry your son. That's all I have to say here. How dare you insult me like that? Do you want me to get my lawyer? Is that what you want? Jeez, I can't keep up with you. In fact, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I need to talk to James about this. I'm sure he can understand. Kate, before you go, let me make a deal with you. I'll give you 3 months for you to pay the 10K. If I don't get that money over the next 3 months, you will no longer be seeing my son, James. Have I made that very clear to you? 3 months for me to pay up or break up with James? Wow. Just wow. You don't even realize what you're saying anymore, do you? Take it or leave it, Kate. The choice is yours. I need to talk to James. Oh, no need for that. He says that's fine by him. Excuse me? I told you, my boy is a good boy. He listens to his mother a lot more than you think. He agrees with me on this. He will always be on my side. Oh, really now? Okay. I understand then. I'll give this some more thought and get back to you. I'm looking forward to your final decision, Kate. Don't let me down. Kate! How long are you going to keep this up for? When are you going to send me that money? Deborah? Hi. What is it? What do you mean, what is it? You know damn well what I'm talking about. It's been more than 3 months now. I've been waiting for your money. Where the heck is it? I've sent you my bank details and all the information you need. You just need to send it. So get on with it and stop making me wait. Well, sure, you sent me your bank details. I honestly don't know why, seeing as I've told you 100 times that I won't be sending you a single dollar. I don't think you should have kept your hopes up, Deborah. Because I think you did that for nothing. What? How dare you? We talked about this. Or what? Are you prepared to break up with my James then? Does he know that this is how much he means to you? Clearly not worth anything to you. Let's hear it then. Can you calm down a bit here, please, Deborah? I've lost my patience with you now. I don't have time or the patience for this anymore. I'll give you an extension. Extension? Yes, that's right. Until the end of the day today. You have until then to pay me, or the deal is off the table. You hear me? Well, I'd hate to break it to you, but I'm married already. What? What did you just say to me? Oh, I forgot to add the part where I meant to say that I broke up with your son, James. And then, not long after that, I met an amazing man. And I'm married to him now. He's my husband. Would you like to see the ring on my finger? I can send you a photo if you want. What the? When did that happen? Are you telling me you broke up with James? Isn't that what I just texted you? You sound like a parrot repeating yourself now. Do you remember saying that to me once before? Hush! I was just confirming what you said, because this is ridiculous. What are you talking about? Why am I hearing this now? James hasn't even told me. Well, it's true. We broke up because of you. Because of me? Well, yes. I couldn't stand the idea of having you as my mother-in-law. I couldn't imagine living the rest of my life having to deal with you and your crazy ways. That would be throwing myself into some kind of hellhole. And to be honest, James was a bit of a mama's boy too. That turned me off as well. I also got to know more about him, and I just decided none of it was worth it in the end. He changed, and he wasn't the same guy I knew when we first met. So I broke it off with him. And then soon after, I met a wonderful man who I'm now proud to call my husband. This isn't happening. What happened to James then? I thought you would have spoken to him about this already. Well, if you didn't know, he moved out of the apartment we were living in. He wasn't paying the rent anyway, so we decided he should be the one moving out. So he did. He used to stop by every other day just to convince me to take him back, actually. I was so close to reporting him and filing a restraining order against him. Report him? For what? For stalking. You see, I haven't told you, but he's done plenty of things to me since we broke up. And while we were together, too, for that matter. Hacking into my social media accounts, stealing cash from my wallet, creeping up on me in public, and a lot more. But I'll spare you the details. None of it changes the fact that I've had so many sleepless nights all 'cause of your stupid son. So if it comes to it, I was going to file a restraining order to do something about it. But when I warned him about that, he stopped. What the? You're lying. Why would I lie about all of this? There's nothing in it for me, is there? Well, anyway, I'm sure he'll eventually get in touch with you to ask you to move back in with you. I heard he's staying at a motel nearby for the time being. I think he thinks we can still get back together. But like I told both you and him, I'm married to someone else now. So I'm sure he'll give up on that idea soon enough. So he really hasn't been paying the rent all this time. Is that what you're concerned about? Well, I guess you do love your money, don't you? Yes, I've been paying the rent all this time. Me. In fact, I've always paid it. He only paid for the first month. What? I didn't know that. Well, as they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He loves to live his life like it's a gambling game. Just like you. What do you mean? Well, the reason why you kept nagging me to pay you the money was because you had some debts to clear off from your gambling addiction, isn't it? What? How do you know about that? Who told you about that? Well, never mind that. I knew about your addiction from a while ago anyway. I just didn't expect you to go around calling my parents to actually threaten them and blackmail them either. My parents really enjoyed that, by the way. Enjoyed what? Being blackmailed by you. I was being sarcastic, of course. Thanks to that, it was like a huge wake-up call for me, really. A wake-up call? What do you mean by that? While James and I were together, I paid for everything that James wanted and needed. I provided for him. You provided for him? He told me that he provided for you. You're lying again. No, I am afraid not. When we first met, sure, he was working full-time at his sales job. Everything was great back then. But then, out of the blue, he came to me saying he wanted to pursue his dream. His dream? Yep, of becoming a guitarist and a songwriter. A what? Is this a joke? Nope, it's all true. So then he quit that sales job and started playing his guitar on the streets. On the streets? Yep, just like those street musicians you see in the subways. He has his guitar case open for people to throw in whatever spare change they have in their pockets. James is not a street musician. I don't understand. This is crazy. Well, I didn't get it either. I still don't. I'm no expert, but I don't exactly get moved or touched by his performance or anything. I don't have a clue as to why he suddenly had a change of heart with his career either. But it is what it is, isn't it? So, that's what happened at the time. So, my son is unemployed right now. Is that what you're telling me? I'm not sure about that. He was working part-time the last time I spoke to him, though. But it didn't change the fact that I was out there paying for everything while he was pursuing his dreams, since I was the one with the full-time job. Then I got so sick and tired of it. He wouldn't listen to me. He just wanted to live off of playing his guitar. That was his life. What? James? I don't believe what I'm hearing. Don't worry, his part-time work isn't too bad. He's going out doing some kind of road work overnight or something. But he used to have a decent job with a stable income. He was doing so well at that company. He was financially stable. What the heck happened to him? Yep, I don't know what happened either there. Where is he now? Do you know where he is? No idea. I moved out of that place, though. My husband and I moved to a completely new place, far from that old apartment to get away from him. He really was becoming a stalker. So I spoke to my lawyer and he just advised me to move somewhere he won't be able to find me. So that's exactly what I did. A stalker? A lawyer? Stop this. This is all too much. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I going too fast? Well, let me slow down for you. By the way, just so you should know, James seemed really pissed off at you. Me? Why? Well, you did ruin his engagement to me, didn't you? I mean, I'm nothing but grateful for the blessing in disguise. But for him? Well, I guess he's spiteful about the fact that he's missing out on what could have been with me. Big time. So, you mean, you think he'll come back to my house being all mad and vengeful? You don't suppose he'll get violent towards me or anything, do you? Well. I guess you knew about his violent streak as well. Another reason I added to the list of things I hate about him. What? You're not saying... Really? Did he really... Yeah, and not just once. Oh, and not to add salt to the wound, but my parents will be calling your husband soon enough. What? Why would they call my husband? Well, just so that we're all on the same page here. After all, he's your family, or shall I say, for your sake, another one of your assets, right? We just want to make sure he knows about your dealings. No, not my husband. He doesn't have to be involved. He doesn't know anything. Oh? Well, why have you decided to keep secrets from your family, Deborah? That's not good, is it? No. Don't you dare tell my husband about this. Which part? The part about you having a gambling addiction or needing to pay off your debts? Or how you tried to blackmail me? Or threatened my parents? No. Shut up, you! Shut up! All you had to do was pay up and everything would have been fine. None of this would have happened. Once I paid off the debt, I was going to support both you and James. That was the plan. I swear. Oh, Kate, what have you done? Why is this happening? No, you weren't. You weren't going to pay off the debt with my money, were you? You were going to spend it on yourself. No, I was going to pay it all off with your money. Ha! So you were going to use my money for it. You conniving old hag. You finally admitted it. No. You don't understand. Listen to me. Listen. Just don't let your parents speak to my husband, okay? Not a word of it. And don't make James come back here while he still wants to bite my head off. Please, Kate. You have to listen to me. I'll do anything. No. Deborah, I think you're the one who has to listen up here. I'm never going to see James again. Never. I'm never going to see you as well. No! What's going to happen to my debts then? What am I going to do? Well, let's see. How about getting a job? That shouldn't be too difficult, right? Either way, this is none of my business now. I was relying on you to pay me that money, Kate. Well then, you thought wrong, didn't you? I can't have my husband find out about this. Just promise that you won't tell him, okay? I need you to do that for me. That's all. You can forget about the rest, okay? It's so funny to see you weep and beg for my help like this. But it's too bad. I don't care about you anymore. You shot yourself in the foot, Deborah. This is your mess to clean up now. So deal with it. So the story goes like this. A debt-ridden mother-in-law blackmailed her son's fiancé, saying that if she wants her approval for the engagement, then she's got to pay her $10,000. Of course, Kate was more intelligent than that, and she would never fall for it. In fact, she wasn't falling for it, just like she was no longer falling in love with her fiancé. The more she spent time with him, the more she found out that he was just bad news and wanted nothing to do with him. It's a good thing that she was smart enough to call off the engagement herself. A few months later, the evil mother-in-law found out that not only was Kate already married to another man, but she wasn't going to pay her a dime. Her son was mad over this, and her husband was about to find out about her cheeky schemes to get money off of her. Now she's the one being blackmailed by her own husband, who's telling her to get a job or else he wants a divorce. Being given an ultimatum, she had no choice but to look for a job, and it's lucky that a local diner hired her. Good luck to her paying off the debts and getting out of trouble that she got herself into. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please like it and see you in the next one.